I want to welcome you all back on into Season 5 here of our Dynasty Daze series on the Ultimate Sports Network. So far, the Cyclones have not been able to find a way to that all-elusive national championship game, but maybe this is the year they finally find a way to get it done. Here early against Penn State in our opening game of the season, we do fall down early after a nice rushing touchdown by running back Dan Taylor, but Plummer's Crack, our stud QB, you might have heard of the guy. Yeah, he comes right back with one of his own right there on the ground. Great way to start the day. Here on 3rd and 10, their quarterback gets away from the initial hit, but we're able to recover. We get the sack, end up getting the ball back, converting it into 3, and now have our first lead of the day. You already saw Dan Taylor score once on the ground this game. He says, you know what, that was so much fun. Let me try it again. Puts his team back in the driver's seat. But now it's going to be Goro Akechi, the new return man who's going to be making a name for himself this year. And you see why right there. The guy might be a little undersized, but man, does he have some wheels. 101 yards all the way to the house. The Nittany Lions move right back down the field, cap it off with a touchdown of their own to take that lead right back. However, we decide, you know what? Let's start running this thing on up. We get 2 consecutive touchdowns here, one by our tight end, the second one by running back Carl Winslow. And just like that, now we have a 10-point lead. The clock is ticking down here. Not too much time left before halftime. The quarterback takes off on his own. Brandon Johnson, nice running play, and now they are back in this game, only down by 3. However, plenty of time for the man Plummer's Crack to find one of his favorite wide receivers in Michael Jordan, who gets a 41-yard touchdown to the house. Here in the second half, Plummer's Crack goes to work early. We've seen what this guy can do with his legs, and I mean, there is just nobody in front of him on that one. The direct snap to running back Dan Taylor results in another touchdown for Penn State, and they're still keeping this thing within 10 points for the time being. But now we're going to air it out here, and look at that connection to the man Beef Tip himself. Dives on into the end zone. Beautiful form right there. 59-35 is your current score as this thing continues to get a little more lopsided. We tack on yet another touchdown. Dan Taylor responds with one of his own, but that's going to do it for the day. Big win here to open the season. 1-0 to start this thing on off. Week number 2, always a chance for us to go up against the Iowa Hawkeyes. You know this Cy-Hawk matchup is a matchup that we put a lot of pride and energy into, but early on it's going to be Joe Mama with the 3-yard touchdown run. Give him a little bit of credit. Surveyed the field, couldn't find his guy, took it himself. However, we get a nice response there from El Chapo Guzman. That works quite well for us, but now on 4th and 2 in a difficult position here, we take an aggressive call to go for it, and it does not pay off. Iowa benefits here from the good field position. They converted into a touchdown. Nice catch there by Paul Latimer. Now it's going to be Goro Akechi. You saw him in the opening game of the season. Can he do it again? Man, this guy is some type of speed demon out here. What a play all the way back to the house, tying this thing on up. Their running back, however, Lorenzo Willis, does get that one punched in with a 1-yard run after they matriculate the ball downfield. Plummer's Crack trying to roll out here. Can he find his guy? Oh my Lord, what a throw to Michael Jordan in the end zone. I can't believe his airness went up and got that one, but the guy's got hops just like the man he's named after. With only 5 seconds remaining, they're able to find wide receiver Brian Barnes for a crucial touchdown to put them up by 7. Now here in the second half, it's going to be Plummer's Crack finding a little bit of open space. Can he make magic happen once again? Looking for his receiver Beef Tip downfield, but it's not going to get there. Nice interception by the Hawkeyes. Well done. They managed to turn this thing around, turn it into 7 points on that Joey Adams 1-yard TD run. Now you've already seen Goro Akechi do some damage here earlier today, but now he's going to try to do it once again, and boy do we need it right now if we have any chance of hanging around in this one. That was a crucial touchdown. Iowa does end up settling for a field goal, but they are now up by 10 here, and we are about halfway through the 4th quarter at this point. After Iowa was able to make a good defensive play right there, we're forced to settle for a field goal, but now getting it back down to a 1-score game, that was imperative. However, Paul Latimer on a short out route here finds a ton of green grass in front of him. Our defenders do eventually wrangle him and get him down, but it doesn't matter because Lorenzo Willis caps off that drive with a big time touchdown. Goro Akechi has already shown you what he can do today, and once again, he's putting his skills on display. I mean, this guy, if he can do this on special teams, you got to wonder what he can do as a full-time starter. Now here on a crucial 3rd and 7 play, they hand the ball off to Lorenzo Willis once again, and folks, unfortunately, that's going to do it for the day. A tough loss here against the Hawkeyes. That one's going to hurt a little bit, and they take back the season series lead now, up 3-2 lifetime against Coach Frank O'Reilly and the Cyclones. That all being said, we have no time to dwell on a tough loss as Alabama, number 5 in the nation, that's where we're going here next week, and they got up 14-0 here early against us. Luckily, the man Carl Winslow is showing you some flashes of his potential to be one of the elite running backs in the nation this season. Alabama wastes no time, however, and they finish off this drive with a beautiful touchdown pass to Marlon Kirk, the guy guy, one of the best receivers in the league, and you're seeing why right there. We do convert on a big 4th and 12, however, that does help. And now here on 2nd and 1, Plummer's Crack finds his tight end, Harry Mudd. Nice job by Harry to get that one on into the end zone. We do force a fumble here on defense, folks. We're going to get it before it can roll out of bounds, and now we've got a chance to tie this thing on up. All we need to do is find a couple open receivers downfield. Beef Tip on the slant route has tons of room in front of him, won't take it all the way downfield, but now here on a close 4th and 4, we're forced to go for it, and maybe a tough decision in retrospect. Maybe should have taken the 3 points, but unfortunately we get stopped a bit short. However, our defense is able to get the ball back, and now here on this drive, it's going to be Carl Winslow for the 2nd time today, pounding that thing on into the end zone. After making a nice goal line stand, we do force Alabama to settle for a field goal here, but they will maintain the lead late in the 4th quarter for the time being. Plummer's Crack here on 2nd and 5, steps on up. His receiver is wide open downfield. It's that man, Beef Tip. Big plays after big plays from this guy, and now here we are back in the lead with under 2 minutes to go. Alabama retakes the lead with a short rushing touchdown from running back Scott Drew, but now we do have our final moment of the game here to step up, but we don't capitalize. It's going to be an interception by Alabama, and folks, we're going to take a tough L here on the road. That's 2 in a row, and a 1-2 record here to start the season is not the way Coach Frank O'Reilly and the crew drew this thing up. Now with a big game against a fellow 1-2 squad here, Texas A&M is visiting us here in Ames, and we go to work early. Our halfback Carl Winslow sends a clear message with his first touchdown of the day here. However, Texas A&M won't be outdone. They pull off a kind of awkward looking option play there, but it does work from Antonio Thomas. Takes that one into the end zone. After we failed to do much on offense ourselves, they get the ball back, end up settling for a field goal of their own, and now Texas A&M has their first lead of the day. However, whenever we are in desperate matters, we always turn to that man Plummer's Crack, and he always finds a way to come on through for us. But on a 4th and 1 play here, Texas A&M is able to get away from our defenders, and Cliff Olson caps that one off with a nice tutty. Now it's the man Beef Tip, who we've heard from almost weekly here on the slant route. Nice and simple, not making things too confusing. And now we get the ball back on this beautiful interception from DB Anonymous Sex. Yes, you heard that name correctly, folks. Named after an erotic novel, of course. You have to ask his parents about that one. I don't know what to tell you. But now coming back the other direction, Texas A&M knows they're down by 11, and they can't let this thing slip away this early. Nice tutty right there to keep this thing interesting for the time being. Whenever you see Goro Akechi on kick return duty, that means one of two things, and this time, of course, the man is taking it all the way back to the house for 101 yards on that return. But look at this. Texas A&M has continued to do work here all day, and look who it is once again. Man, Antonio Thomas making a hell of a name for himself today on the road. These Iowa State fans are going to know that man when he leaves the stadium. But Goro says, you know what? I did it once, and I bet you boys I can do it again. At some point, it seems like this guy might just be a cheat code, and I'm not really sure if it's fair for us to keep him out there on the return team. However, Antonio Thomas is like, talking cheat codes, sign me up, boss, and gets another tutty on his stat sheet for the day. Now it's going to be Beef Tip, who we've seen be a bit of a machine here, capping it off with a nice touchdown, and the man Carl Winslow really putting this thing well out of reach. However, they would come through with a late touchdown from Jared Mayhew. Nice job by him to find some open space on that one, but Plummer's Crack says, you know what, if you want to rush one in, I bet you I can do it too. Matches him tutty for tutty, and right now, Texas A&M on their last legs. Can they find a way to do it? No, it's going to be Douglas Havoc, named after a World War II aircraft. You got to give the man some credit. Beautiful interception right there, and this run by Carl Winslow will seal the deal. Big win here, getting us back to 500, and you got to feel better after watching a game like that. Well, folks, this is the matchup you've all been waiting for. We're number 18 in the nation. West Virginia's number 12. We have not been able to beat this team in our first 4 years here at this program. They have had our number year in and year out, and it would be no different here early in this one. An unconventional-looking option play somehow converted into a touchdown by running back Darren Goddard right there. Give him all the credit in the world, but that was a weird-looking play. We come right back, unfortunately, and with a little bit of pressure, quarterback Plummer's Crack makes probably not one of his best decisions. Luckily for us, the defense does stand tall. They end up doinking it off the uprights, and folks, what a lucky break for the Cyclones here early. Our backup quarterback, Daquan Garcia, was forced to check into the game temporarily and does not make it look pretty out there with that INT. That's the second one on the day for the Mountaineers. Here on a nice easy curl route, not only does Fry make the catch, but he just bowls over two of our players on the way to the end zone. That's a big touchdown right there, putting up 14-0 here early. early. Beef Tip, however, converts on this one, gets us across midfield, and it's going to be Robert Edwards, our fullback, with the rare touchdown for him. Nice job right there. Big sack here on 3rd and 7, and our defense finding ways to make some plays, letting us hang around in this game for the time being. And on a nice option play right here, it's going to be that running back of ours, Carl Winslow, tying this thing on up shortly before halftime. However, West Virginia does have a little bit of time still left on the clock, but they make a big mistake here trying to force one into wide receiver Dylan Fry, and our guy Fuji Krakatoa, the stud linebacker himself, jumps on in front of that one and ends the half effectively. Here in half number 2, it's going to be Plummer's Crack starting it off, putting us up by 7. Wait, no, folks, it's going to be putting us up by 10 after that beautiful field goal right there. However, West Virginia bounces right back here with a touchdown of their own. That's pretty typical for them. They're not giving up on this one quite yet. Here on 4th and inches, Carl Winslow somehow finds a way to get us just enough yardage, and he does the same thing again here, breaking the plane of the end zone on that one. And folks, we are up by 10 with under 2 minutes to go. However, you've heard Dylan Fry's name already called a couple times today, and makes another great play right here, 48 yards downfield, and they're going to punch this thing on in with James Hayden on the 3-yard rush right there. Michael Jordan does recover the onside kick, and after West Virginia's defense makes a good stand, we are forced to settle for 3 points. They got a chance here to make a miracle happen, but with no timeouts remaining, they're going to need to do it quickly. Of course, they look to Dylan Fry. No surprise there, but time is ticking now, folks. We're down to 7 seconds on the clock. Fry catches the ball. No surprise they're going to their stud, but just not going to be enough time left on the clock to score a tutty here, and we are going to get the win despite the career day from their wide receiver Dylan Fry. Big time win for the Cyclones, and we finally take out the Mountaineers for the first time here at Iowa State. Now we've got TCU coming up here, and it's not just your normal TCU, folks. This is the 4-1 TCU squad. I mean, this is TCU when they are at their best, and now it's going to be Plummer's Crack trying to respond to that opening touchdown as he throws the pitch back to Carl Winslow. He starts running ahead of him, trying to set a block for the man. Can't unfortunately stop all those defenders, but we do get a good gain out of that one. Now it's going to be Harry Mudd here on the route underneath, is able to catch it, punches it into the end zone, and a nice play right there. Big time touchdown, and after we get the ball back, Carl Winslow starts to go to work once again. Here from inside the 5-yard line, it's actually going to be backup running back Goro Akechi. We've seen what he can do on those kick returns, but it's nice to see him getting involved in the run game a little bit as well, and you will continue to see him make an impact going forward. Here on this play, though, the quarterback opts to keep it himself for TCU, and you can't blame him. Turns out quite well. We've got a tie game here now, and folks, we're already almost done with the third quarter, so this game is just flying on by. Another great play by TCU, and their quarterback finds his wide receiver Nathan Gray on that one, converts it into an easy tutty. We've already seen Goro Akechi score once on the ground here today, but now he's going to do it once again in the return game. I mean, this man is an absolute beast on the field. What a play right there, putting us up by 7 once again. Now here's a chance for us to take a lead by double digits. We throw it out to Carl Winslow on the rare passing play. He does the nice little stutter step there, and the defender falls for it big time, and it converts it into a nice touchdown, his first receiving touchdown here on the season. TCU isn't quite giving up yet, but with just over a minute remaining, they really don't have much time. They're going to need to recover this onside kick, but for the second straight game, Michael Jordan picks this thing on up like a Hoover vacuum, and there you go. Going to need this thing. That's going to do it, folks. What a win, and just like that, we are starting to stack up the W's here at Iowa State. Now, next week, you know, we've got to go out to BYU, one of the most beautiful settings for any home field here at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. I mean, this is going to be a fun one, folks. This is going to be an important game as well, as you can see where we are in the standings right here, midway through the regular season. Coach Frank O'Reilly has managed to get the Cyclones into the top 10 rankings in the country, but we want to stay there, folks. We don't want to let this opportunity slip through our fingers. However, early in this one, BYU would establish their dominance with that nice play to Jake Kenny, but in typical Plummer's Crack fashion, he rolls out the wrong direction, throws across his body, and still manages to find his receiver Beef Tip. We convert that into a Carl Winslow touchdown a couple plays later. However, BYU comes right back. Larry Smith runs that one on in himself. Nice looking play. Now Plummer's Crack under a little bit of pressure on the run as well. Going to make a big mistake here, throwing that INT. Never shall let that pass leave his hand. And even worse now, BYU getting some great return yardage on that one to set up their offense. Nice reception right here by the man Donovan Parks, punches it on in, and just like that, folks, we are down by 14. However, one of the best plays you'll see all season here, Michael Jordan not only catches it along the sidelines, but then somehow manages to pull a little loop-de-loo, goes back on inside, and takes it all the way down the field for a crucial score. BYU finds their receiver Eric Jefferson, and they are back up by 14 here in the first half. It's not looking good now. On a 4th and 1, we roll the dice and go for it, and Carl Winslow, he makes us proud every single time he touches the ball, and no surprises there. BYU does settle for their first field goal of the day, so now with only a 10-point lead, let's see if we can really get aggressive out here. We're not really sure how, but somehow El Chapo Guzman comes down with that catch in double coverage, setting up this next play here from Plummer's Crack as he looks to the end zone, finds that man, beef tip, catches it in the back, is able to get both feet down. That would have been a catch in the NFL, folks. Goro Akechi then chips in with his first rushing touchdown of the day, and that gives us our first lead here for the Cyclones. It's going to be Plummer's Crack following that up with a nice long rushing touchdown. Now Carl Winslow, speaking of rushing touchdowns, that happens to be that man's expertise. It's going to be Larry Smith once again taking it himself here, his second touchdown on the ground today. Got to give him some credit for helping his team hang around for the time being. They do somehow manage to recover an onside kick, and they're still fighting for their life out here, but it's going to be interesting with time dwindling on the clock. Smith looking to the corner. Can he find his receiver? Yes, he can. It's going to be Matt Wallace. They go for their second onside kick attempt, but this one is going to get booted out of bounds, folks. They do have 3 timeouts remaining, but it won't matter. We get a first down. We take the knee, and that'll do it for the day. Nice day for Plummer's Crack. 274 yards through the air, 144 on the ground, and 4 total touchdowns. What a day for your Iowa State quarterback. Well, folks, that'll do it for the first half of Season 5 here at Iowa State. So far, Cyclones looking pretty dang good out here, man, so I'm pretty excited about what we got coming your way. We do stream on Twitch, of course, 5 days a week, Sunday nights at 5 p.m., and then you can also find us Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Come on through, enjoy some college football with us sometime if you'd like. I'd also like to mention that if you enjoyed the video, always feel free to drop a like, drop a comment, or even go ahead and subscribe to the page and come on back here for future videos. We've got the second half of Season 5 coming your way soon, so let's see if Coach Frank and the boys can finally get the job done. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and as always, class is in session. Take care.